Right, good to see you all here. Welcome to this week's training. I am super pumped as usual to be sharing all these insights with you. So
It is what it is, eh? I just
traveled the world from 2016 onward. I wrote it down.
Facebook with regards to how much money measure against those KPIs.
Trust me, your life will change. Now, my goal and my intention over these next 6 weeks, well, there's 3 more to go, plus some bonus training we'll have up our sleeve, is to empower you to become a Facebook ad specialist. Because Facebook ads is one of the simplest, fastest, and easiest ways to start your career, your entrepreneurship journey in this world. Because if you can learn how to implement Facebook ads and more specifically generate appointments for businesses, you are going to become a powerful asset for yourself, for your family, and for the businesses that you can help or your own business. Okay, because once you learn how to drive appointments and you learn a sales process that pulls a prospect through magnetically and gets them to move, you are powerful. Okay, you are powerful and you have very powerful tools at your fingertips. And all we ask is that you use them with heart. If we actually even just go into the US alone, 26,000 businesses don't make it past the promoter phase in their business in the US alone. What does that tell us? That tells us that there's a massive opportunity for marketers to help businesses get past that phase. And I can tell you right now, one of the quickest and fastest ways to get ads working in this crowded marketplace is to have a high ticket offer that you sell by an appointment. Then you can keep spending on ads. It's one of the fastest and easiest ways. So when we tell you this, and when we tell you to start with this focus, we really know what we're talking about. And we really know where's the best place to start. And when you work with people, or if you're in your own business and you're launching a new campaign, it does take about 2 to 3 weeks of clarity work to get clear. So what you're experiencing here is what you should really be experiencing with a client, or if you're launching your own campaign. It doesn't just happen overnight. You can't force creativity, and clarity is the key. Okay, until you are clear, you run the risk of hitting the golf ball out by 1 millimeter. And if you hit the golf ball out by 1 millimeter at the tee, where does it end up? Down the fairway. It ends up away off the fairway. You feel me? So with clarity, it's a crystal clear clarity, crystal clear alignment, and then you can move. And it's worth planting the seed and it growing underneath the surface for the first 3 weeks. Because it doesn't feel like anything's growing for that first 3 weeks. Like for this first 3 weeks, it's probably not felt like, man, I'm not moving, you know, we're not really going into action, but that is purpose. We've designed this purposefully because that is how it should be. That is how it should be. And you just wait until you've experienced today's session. Oh man, I got some epic stuff up my sleeve for you. And it's literally going to change the way that you present. Okay, so let's get started. So this week, we're going to be talking about your framework, or you can even call this your model. Okay, your framework and model. So we're going to cover this today, and then tomorrow you're going to be on with Jag. He's going to be helping you get really clear on your story and how you tell that, regardless if you have a story right now or not, or if you feel like you don't have a story, or if you feel like you don't have experience. We're going to be helping you get really clear on how you position yourself. Okay, so I'm going to start with another mind-opening question for you, like I always do, and that is, would you buy something that you don't understand? In the chat box, let me know, yes or no. I mean, imagine this. Imagine not having a picture of what a product or service is going to do for you, and then you just purchase it anyway. Now, I'm not talking about toothpaste, or I'm not talking about deodorant, or I'm not talking about everyday things or food. I'm talking about the invisible products. Like you've bought an invisible, by buying this, you bought an invisible product. But before you bought it, you fully understood what you were buying because we've done what we're teaching you here. Okay. Now, as a species, we don't really do that, right? We don't buy something that we don't understand. Does this make sense? Like, come back. Give me a 1 in the chat box if you agree with that statement. Good. Everyone's in agreement. Now, next, would you buy something if you had no feels for it at all? Imagine just not feeling excited about what you're going to purchase. Now, remember, I'm not talking about toothpaste, right? We don't get excited about buying toothpaste. We just want to keep our teeth clean, right? So it's like more of an obligation. I'm talking about other products, like all you females out there looking on Instagram, you see all the makeup stuff and the beauty stuff. Like you want to feel excited about what you buy, right? If you're buying a coaching program, you want to feel excited about what you buy, right? You want to feel like there's hope for the future. You want to feel urgency to move now. You want to feel like you trust the brand and the person, right? So tell me, would you buy something that you don't have the feels for? So what does this mean for us? What does this mean for us marketers, me and you? Now I'm talking to you right behind that screen. What does this mean for us? Well, number one, you must get good at creating a picture of what it is that you do. You must get someone to see that with conviction. Number two, you must get good at bringing emotion into it when you explain it. You must not be a cardboard cutout and just talk on the one tone and not be excited. And if that's not who you naturally are, I feel you because it's not who I naturally am. I've just learned to be like this. So it just shows you your past doesn't equal your future. Number three, you must get good at getting people to perceive the value because they will naturally look at it like a cost. They look at their bank account, they make a decision based off that versus the opportunity cost of the future. I can tell you right now, if I didn't make some decisions in my life and invest in things when I wasn't ready to do them, the opportunity cost of my future, I can't even explain how much money I would have left on the table if I had said no. There's a couple of tools that I want to introduce you to. Now, some of you might have heard this before and some of you might not have. But there's two tools that are going to allow you to become an absolute weapon and warrior at really communicating what it is you do. The first one is emotional clarity. Someone write this down in the chat box, just in case. Like someone write this down. So in emotional clarity, there's 4 P's and 4 E's. Some of you might already know this, but I really want to revisit it. The first one is problem clarity. Second one is person clarity. The next one is path clarity. They must be clear that you have the path out of the problem, and that's what we're going into today, really, is this path stuff. And then they must have product clarity, which is what we went over last week, your no-brainer offer. We're going to be going over this today. The path, person will be tomorrow with story, and problem. We kind of touched on that today as well, but it's really self-explanatory. You just get them really clear on their problem. 4 E's. This is for emotions. They must feel trust. They must feel hope. They must feel excitement. And they must feel urgency to move now. This is a big one. By telling the right story, you will create trust naturally. And by being yourself and being in your heart and soul, you'll create trust naturally. It's pretty easy to create trust. Even by communicating and getting someone clear on their problem creates trust. Even giving someone value creates trust, right? So trust is pretty simple to create. Giving someone hope is giving them a clear path out of their problem, and getting someone excited is about your energy. your energy, you bring in the joy to the moment, and you getting people excited and really just owning this. And urgency, you must give them a reason to move now. They must perceive how good a deal it is now to move. You must get them to see if they don't move now, that their future is not going to be different. Which path do you want to go down? Do you want to go down the one you're continually going down now, which will lead to nowhere? Or do you want to go down the one you really want to go down? I am the person that can give you the path to get on that fast track. Okay? And that is a science. This is science, guys. This gets people to move. This gets people to move. And when you can learn this and practice it and master it, you're going to change your whole life. I can guarantee you. You'll change the game for you. Okay? You'll absolutely change the game. Cool. So this is tool number 1. This is a tool in your toolbox. Okay. Tool number 2, before we go on, is called the teaching model. Okay, it's called the teaching model. Now, one thing you've got to be aware of when you're trying to get someone to take an action and buy your products or services is confusion is the enemy. A confused mind does nothing, whereas a clear mind takes action. Have you ever been confused and frozen? We all have. When we're not moving, we're confused. We're not clear on the future. But when we move, we're really clear on where we're going and we're really clear on the future. Okay? So we have to engage both parts of the brain to create a memory. Okay? We really need to engage both parts of the brain to create a memory. So if I share my screen, confusion is the enemy. We've got a left brain and a right brain. Okay? Left brain, right brain. And we got to speak to both parts of the brain to create a memory in their brain. Because if we just speak to the left side and not the right, we're not going to create an impact. And the same, if we just speak to the right and we don't speak to the left, then it's not going to make sense at all. There's no logic to it. Okay, so we need to speak to both parts of the brain. Okay, it's absolutely key. So how do we do that? There is a model and it's a quadrant. Okay, there's a quadrant. Up here is context. Down here is details. Obviously, we've got right brain, and then we've got left brain. So what we do is we start up here, and we can tell a story up here, and we can state why. And the point is to set the context for the right brain. Okay, so we can tell a story or a metaphor or a metaphorical story that gets the point across that we want them to understand. So we first need to be clear on what it is we actually want them to understand and what point we want to get across. And then we can create a story or a statement around that, or even a question that gets people to think. Why do you think at the start? I always start with little questions to get you to think about stuff. This is why. I start with questions, and then I sometimes start with a story, but the point of me starting there is to get your right brain understanding the context. If I just jumped off and started teaching you stuff down here, then hey, your right brain is going to be saying there's part of it. And even if you're not aware of it, your right brain is going, I don't understand this. And your right brain's fighting your left brain because your left brain's going, yeah, sweet. Yeah, details. Love it. Love it. Love it. Logically makes sense. Cool. Right brain's going, what the hell? What the hell? So there's no congruence. Okay. So you start here and then you move over to here. Okay. So what do you do up here? You teach your model or big picture steps. Okay. So like this is a model. This is getting your left brain to understand logic. So basically you're teaching them the big path, right? And this gets your left brain to understand the context of what you're about to teach it in detail. So you've got right brain context. The right brain gets the picture. The left brain now gets the picture. Context has been set. There's context. Now your two hemispheres in your brain are going, right, I get it. I understand. Why do you think I always check in with you guys? I'm like, does this make sense? You understand this? I'm getting your brains to talk to each other, and I'm getting you to go, yeah, I understand. Yeah. And you're starting to create an image, and you're starting to receive this information in your own unique way. Okay. Then we move down into here. Okay. Then we teach the detail. So we teach the detail down here. And this could also be the part of the stack on the presentation where you're doing a presentation or you're doing an offer, and you're just teaching all the detail, all the steps. First you get this, then you get this, then you get this, or first you do that, then you do that, then you do that, then you do that, and you're teaching the details. And now that the context is set, this makes sense to the brain. The left brain's going, fuck yeah, I get it, I get it, I get it. Last but not least, what you need to do is you need to close off the right brain and show some sort of demo or show proof in here. And this is really backing up that you're the right person, etc. as well. And that allows the right brain to close the loop. You've went and set the context here, set the context here. Now we've got the context. So detail, you teach it. So the only question left in the brain is like, well, show me then, prove it. That's the right brain needing some clarity. You give that, you get the whole point across in your presentation, sorry, whether that's on the phone, whether that's on a video, whether that's on a webinar, whether that's in a funnel, whether that's in written copy. This is how you get a point across, and you don't look past it. Okay? Does this make sense? Give me a 1 in the chat box if this is making sense. Yes, you're going to have to put this into practice to really, really, really understand it. Okay. One of the most powerful things you can do is start to watch what I do. And not just watch me as taking in the information, but actually just watch what I do. And watch, like, so have two parts. So you have the part of you that's taking in the brain, but have the other part of you that's like, what's he doing right now? This is what I did to learn. I literally did this with Chris. I sat up every single back of his room. I was on every single one of his webinars. I would then go out and look at other people and study what they were doing. But I wasn't actually there to get the information, because I already have all the information. I was there to look at what they were doing. And I just studied. And there's something called mirror neurons in the brain. And because I've got really powerful mirror neurons, I used that. And I was like, just mirror what they are doing. I would just watch and watch and watch. And it was the power of repetition into my brain, and then understanding the knowledge. So I kind of understood these parts. And then I really went deep on getting my brain to see proof and demonstrations of it happening. And then it just clicked. I don't know, it just clicked for me. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing the detail steps now. So I've literally drew out the model and then went into detail and explaining it, right? So I've literally I just done that and that right there. And then same with emotional clarity. I just did that and that right there. So I want you to know, I want your brain to understand two models before I really go in to teach more detail, because there's more detail coming. And then I'm about to give you a demo as well here, okay? 2021 is around the corner. And who's ready to make 2021 the year of their life? Because this is the youngest you're ever going to be. One of the most powerful vehicles and tools you have at your fingertips is learning this skill, because this skill can be the active income generation that you need to then invest in other things. That active income generation can then turn into the second phase of financial independence, which is when you get it to work with less of your time and you just focus on doing the things that you love.